Welcome back to Grand Adventure. I'm your host, Mark Guido, and when most folks think of Oregon, they think of Portland, the Pacific Ocean along the Oregon coast, the lush agrarian Willamette Valley at the western end of the historic Oregon Trail, or the tall forested volcanoes of the Cascades. But there's an entire other half to Oregon, this eastern half, dominated by the Harney Basin, one of the least populated areas of the contiguous United States. This isn't the middle of nowhere, for we actually left that behind about 60 miles ago. It's an arid, seemingly featureless desert, but as you'll see in this episode, it's hardly featureless at all. We'll explore the massive tectonic uplift of Steens Mountain, the difficulty of early frontier life in the basin, the surprising wetlands of Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, the volcanic field of diamond craters, and much more, including, of course, the camping. So stick around. This episode of Grand Adventure is sponsored by the Dyrt Pro. Find the campsite that's right for you from over 44,000 listings, either on the web or on their #1 ranked mobile app. Try all of the Pro features free for 90 days by using the promo code GrandAdventure90. Once proposed as a national monument, President Bill Clinton in 2000 signed a law creating the 425,000-acre Steens Mountain BLM Cooperative Management and Protection Area. The gentle west slope of Steens Mountain is traversed by a 59-mile gravel loop road, which while heavily washboarded is nevertheless still suitable for passenger vehicles. This road eventually reaches an elevation of 9,700 feet, making it the highest road in Oregon. Steens Mountain is a large fault block mountain stretching some 50 miles from north to south, abruptly rising nearly 5,000 vertical feet above the Alvord Desert to its east, to a summit elevation of 9,733 feet. It is sometimes confused with a mountain range, but despite its length is properly a single mountain. It was first called the Snowy Mountains by John Work, an early fur trader in the area, but was renamed in 1860 for the United States Army Major Enoch Steen, who fought and drove members of the Paiute tribe off the mountain. As we climb slowly along the beginning of the loop road's south segment, the sagebrush predominant on the valley floor begins to be speckled by juniper. Before we start climbing the mountain proper, we're going to stop at the Riddle Brothers Ranch, National Historic District maintained by the BLM. Walter, Frederick, and Benjamin Riddle were three bachelor brothers who secured home sites and raised livestock in and around the ranch in this part of Oregon's last frontier. Migrating from western Oregon, they settled here in the early 1900s and built their ranch by gaining control of water in the area, first raising mules and horses for the U.S. military market, and later running cattle following World War I when the U.S. military became mechanized. The main ranch complex includes a house, bunkhouse, barn, root cellar, chicken coop, bathhouse, blacksmith shop with adjoining tack room, and several corrals built of willow and juniper. All of the structures on the ranch were built using logs, weatherboards, hand-cut shingles, and local stone. The BLM has stabilized and restored the main buildings and many of the other structures. The repair work added structural support and replaced deteriorating elements of the buildings. However, the BLM was careful not to alter the character of the historic structures during the restoration and preservation process. Original artifacts are displayed by the BLM where they were used. In the late 1950s, the Riddle Brothers sold their ranch holding to Rex Clemens, an Oregon lumberman and philanthropist. In 1986, the BLM purchased the property from Clemens and has since managed the ranch for its historic values. Steens Mountain is distinctive in its absence of conifers, especially ponderosa pine and Douglas fir, at elevations in which they would normally be found. This is believed to be due to the isolation of Steens Mountain, although lack of seed dispersal by birds may also be a factor. It's also possible that prehistoric fires, including fires used by Native Americans, eradicated the conifer population. Once we gain sufficient elevation, trees finally give way to a landscape of only low plants and grasses. Steens Mountain is home to a wide variety of animals. Birds found here include golden eagles, owls, and the protected sage grouse. Other animals found in the area include rattlesnakes, scorpions, elk, bighorn sheep, pronghorn antelope, and cougars, along with wild horses. A wolverine was trapped and released on Steens Mountain in the 1970s. Here at the Steens Mountain summit, the navigable road ends at a gate at 9,700 feet, leaving those who wish to travel the remaining 33 feet to the top by foot. Here at the East Rim viewpoint, we're looking at the Alvord Desert, only 1 mile away, yet nearly 5,000 vertical feet below our feet. Our views are obscured by wildfire smoke floating in from Northern California and southwestern Oregon. But on a clear day, you could see all the way to Nevada, Idaho, and California. This is Kyger Gorge, a classic U-shaped glacial valley about a half-mile deep and home to a herd of wild mustangs. Glaciers once scoured down this mountain, scrubbing away softer sediments and creating distinct notches in the bedrock. There are boondocking opportunities and several established dry BLM campgrounds along the Steens Mountain Loop, including this one at the Fish Lake Recreation Site. However, the gravel washboard to get here would need to be negotiated at 10 miles per hour or less with a trailer in tow. So that's why we're staying here at Steens Mountain Wilderness Resort. It's right at the base of the Steens Mountain Loop, and that avoids all but 3 miles of that rough gravel washboard. Now, the road itself isn't that bad. I mean, it's negotiable by any vehicle, any kind of car or truck or what have you. You don't need four-wheel drive or anything like that. It's just that so many miles of rough washboard would be brutal on this trailer, and we decided that we'd try to avoid that fiasco that may come of driving on such a rough road. This has been a great place to stay. It's $44 a night for full hookup for 50 amp, and it's $39 a night for full hookup for 30 amp. These have got the longest sites, driveways that I've ever seen on these 50 amp pull-throughs. I mean, you could put 3 rigs in one of these sites. It's crazy how long they are. But everything is well kept, everything is well maintained, and it's been a great place for us to stay to explore the area. You'll find Steens Mountain Wilderness Resort and over 1 million other campsites, reviews, and tips at our video sponsor, the Dyrt Pro. Members even get the ability to search for a campsite while outside of cell service or Wi-Fi range, as well as tip routing, public land map layers, and campground and camping gear discounts. Best of all, our Grand Adventurers get to try all of the Pro features free for 90 days just by using the promo code GRANDADVENTURE90. Click on the link down below in the video description to try the Dyrt Pro for free today. Tiny Frenchglen, current population approximately 12, is named for Dr. Hugh Glenn, a successful rancher, and Peter French, an employee and eventual son-in-law of Dr. Glenn's, sent north from California to expand their cattle operations. In 1897, he was fatally shot over a fence dispute. Today, Frenchglen is an important fuel stop for travelers, as the nearest gas pumps are roughly 60 miles in either direction. That's how they get $4.95 a gallon here. The 1924 Frenchglen Hotel originally provided overnight accommodation for stockmen visiting the ranch to purchase cattle. It was remodeled by the Civilian Conservation Corps in 1938 and remains open today, providing lodging and family-style meals March through October. Wetlands may be the last thing you'd expect to find in a desert that averages only 6 inches of rainfall per year, but the large, flat center of the Harney Basin is nevertheless dominated by them. In 1908, these wetlands were protected by order of President Theodore Roosevelt as the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, as an essential migration stop for birds following the Pacific Flyway, including 2.5 million ducks each year. Wildlife in the area includes as many as 320 species of birds and 58 species of mammals. The center of the basin is flat and contains Malheur and Harney lakes, which receive the streams originating within the basin in the surrounding mountains, including the Donner und Blitzen River that we're traveling along today. No, that's not named for Santa's reindeer. Instead, both Santa's reindeer and this river were named for the German words for thunder and lightning. The river earned its name from a U.S. cavalry captain who led his men across the river during a violent thunderstorm. The 150-acre Crumbo Reservoir is the deepest water within the refuge and holds rainbow trout that average in the 16-inch range, along with largemouth bass and some white crappie. Fishing is reportedly best in the spring and fall when the weather and water is cooler, as the bite tends to be off when the water warms up. Just east of the wildlife refuge, Diamond Crater's outstanding natural area was formed between the years 7320 and 7790 BC, when groundwater contacting hot volcanic lava exploded. These are known as maars, which usually fill up with water to create a lake, but here in the desert of the Harney Basin, these are dry maars. In addition to maars, those exploring diamond craters will find lava flows, cinder cones, and other volcanic features, some of which are much easier to get to than others. So we truly hope that you've enjoyed visiting the Steens Mountain area of Eastern Oregon's Alfred Desert with us. If you liked this episode, please be sure to give us a big thumbs up down below. And while you're down below, that's where you'll find the comment section. And we'd love to hear from you after each episode that we air every Wednesday evening. So if you're not yet a grand adventurer, this is the perfect time to go smash that little red subscribe button down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And ring that notification bell to be sure that you come along on each grand adventure. So until next week, please remember, life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.